Testing. Aha. This is table 6. Testing.
We're going to try this out tonight. That's so it's the same thing. Just press that button. I'll leave this here just in case.
Okay. You're just trying one?
Yeah, we have. He's gonna try to get another one real quick.
I got a chair.
Good to see everybody. We're not, oh, now we're on air. All right, that's great to see everybody. Thank you everybody for coming out. Excuse my my voice. I get allergies every year. This year's no different. This one's beating the snot out of me. But anyway, we got to move forward. So this is the official Bristol Township Council meeting for May 19th. 2022, starting time looks like it's 7:04. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, a moment of silence for all our military personnel overseas here, our men in blue, our women in blue, our first responders, and also all our military that never made it back home.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. 'Cause 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 'c
Thank you. We need roll call, please.
President Bowen,
Here.
Vice President Murphy,
Present.
Ms. Dunlap,
Present.
Mr. Antonello,
Here.
Mr. Blaylock,
Here.
Mr. Glasson,
Here.
Mrs. Wagner.
Present.
Before we met in executive session, Randy Flegger.
Mr. President, we met in executive session to discuss personnel, litigation matters, and real estate matters.
Thank you. Monthly reports are available for review in the Township Manager's Office. Public comments will be taken on land development official action items. General comments will be taken during opportunity for residents to address council. Next, we have presentation. We have recognition of Police Week. A resolution recognizing the week of May 15th to 21, 2022 as National Police Week.
I will make that motion.
We have a motion by Mary Ann Wagner and second by Joe Glasson. On that motion, all in favor? Aye. Not am I going to oppose. Do we have somebody from the police department to? Yes.
Well, hello.
Thank you. Lieutenant Johnson, great to see you.
Thank you. Great to be here, Council, Manager Elton. Thank you for this opportunity to present some commendations for outstanding police work and courage by some of our men. I have here, and the chief is not here today, he's on vacation, so he wishes he could be here, but he asked me to cover this while he's gone. We have a letter from the Office of the District Attorney. It's written by Deputy District Attorney Kristen McElroy, and it references a commendation for Detective Al Asman. Detective Asman does most of our child abuse investigations. They come to us in the form of what's called a CY 104, which is a description of what happened. He triages about 8 to 10 of these a week and prioritizes them according to their importance. He immediately recognized the seriousness of the allegation and began an extensive investigation. Through a series of interviews with potential witnesses, Detective Asman developed probable cause to ultimately secure search warrants for the defendant's electronics. Dozens of homemade videos of child pornography, including child rape, were discovered on these electronics. The warrants became crucial to the investigation. The evidence uncovered from these warrants was so strong and compelling, the defendants chose to waive their preliminary hearing and ultimately pled guilty for their horrific crimes. No child was forced to testify about what they had endured. On January 18th, 2022, Honorable Wallace Bateman sentenced Defendant Hewitt to 20 to 40 years and Defendant Smock to 15 to 30 years. So we have an official commendation for Detective Asman for merit, for an act demonstrating superior intelligence and effort, which resulted in an important solution and apprehension of 2 offenders for child rape, various other child sex crimes, and child pornography against multiple child victims on January 18th, 2022. Your action and quick response is exemplary and in keeping with the tradition maintained by the Bristol Township Police Department. I'd like to call Detective Asman. These next 2 commendations, Officer Yeiter. Okay. I want to make sure he was here. These next 2 commendations were as a result of a call for a homicide on Route 413 in the single homes there right across from Winder Village. It was 605 Veterans Highway, and the officers responded. Officer Yeiter was the first to respond. The suspect was sitting on the front porch with the weapon in his hand. The weapon was a knife. The knife still had the blood on it. He held the subject at bay. as other officers passed behind him to render aid to one of the victims who turned out not to make it, and the other victim who did turn out to make it. Regarding the other victim, it was the victim who died. It was his mother who got defensive wounds on the arm from the knife trying to defend her son. Thomas Topley, who is the executive director or chief of the Ben Salem Rescue Squad, writes, "The crew reported your officers placed a tourniquet on the patient's left upper extremity. The crew noted in their patient report the tourniquet was applied high and tight and that bleeding was controlled prior to their arrival. While reviewing the call, I noticed the patient's vital signs revealed a low blood pressure and a high pulse rate, which are signs of shock beginning a level for which the body can no longer compensate. The quick actions and proper placement of the tourniquet by your officer clearly saved this woman's life." So a commendation for valor and for Sergeant Mark Titus, who applied the tourniquet, and a commendation for honor for Officer John Yeiter, who held the suspect at bay while first aid was rendered to the victims and until backup got there to take him into custody safely. I'll read them both and then have the officers come up. For Sergeant Mark Titus, for an act of heroism and outstanding courage, without regard to personal safety, while rushing into a home, following a homicide, finding the helpless female victim with defensive knife wounds on her arms, losing blood rapidly, stopping the bleeding by applying a tourniquet, which in turn saved her life, and providing care until the rescue squad arrived on December 18th, 2021. Your action and quick response is exemplary and in keeping with the tradition maintained by the Bristol Township Police Department. An official commendation for honor presented to Officer John Yeiter for an act of outstanding courage without regard to personal safety with an armed and dangerous adversary while responding to a home following a homicide, finding a suspect seated on the front porch of the home with a bloody knife and calmly holding him at gunpoint until backup arrived and he could be taken into custody on December 18th, 2021. Your action and quick response is exemplary and in keeping with the tradition maintained by the Bristol Township Police Department. Sergeant Mark Titus and Officer John Yeiter.
Lieutenant Johnson, we do have a resolution that we'd like to read before you leave. Resolution number 2022-29, a resolution of the Council of Bristol Township celebrating National Police Week in commemoration of the men and women who protect the health, safety, and welfare of Bristol Township. Whereas law enforcement officers are charged with pursuing justice and protecting, and whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the problems, duties, and responsibilities of their police department, and that members of our police department recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence or disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression and intimidation. And whereas Bristol Township recognizes the week of May 15th to the 21st as National Police Week. Now, therefore, be it resolved, Bristol Township Council acknowledges the significant daily contributions that the employees within the Bristol Township Police Department provide to the residents and businesses throughout the township. Resolved and adopted this 19th day, May of 2022. Thank you. Thank you again, officers. Okay. Next, Public Works Week, a resolution recognizing the week of May 15th to the 21st, 2022 as Public Works Week. And I will read the resolution. We need to make a motion now. Let's make a motion on that.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Cindy Murphy, second by Marion Wagner. On the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Resolution 2022-30, a resolution of the Council of Bristol Township celebrating National Public Works Week in commemoration of the men and women in Bristol Township who provide and maintain the infrastructure and services collectively known as public works. Whereas National Public Works Week is a celebration of police who play a critical role and are dedicated in strengthening our community, maintaining infrastructures, and improving our quality of life. And whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are vital importance to the sustainable and resilience of Bristol Township. And whereas Bristol Township recognizes the week of May 15, 21 as National Public Works Week. Now, therefore, be it resolved, Bristol Township Council acknowledges the significant daily contribution that the employees within the Public Works Department provide to the citizens and businesses throughout the township during National Public Works Week. Resolved and adopted this day, May 19th, 19th day of May of 2022. Almost made it through.
Almost. Good job.
Thank you for everything the Public Works does for us and the community. Next, moving along, we have public hearing and ordinances. An ordinance amending the Code of Township of Bristol, Chapter 205 zoning, and the Bristol Township zoning map or rezoning of 2125 Prospect Avenue from R1 to R2 residential district. Consideration and take appropriate action.
Good evening. Matthew McHugh, attorney for the applicant, Lower Bucks Home Builders LLC. They are the owners of two parcels of property here on Prospect Avenue that is seeking a rezoning from the current R1 designation to R2 to allow for a single-family home development in cul-de-sac. I have a presentation. I don't know if the board wants to go forward with that or if there's any preliminary matters that need to be taken care of.
You want to do a brief overview? Is that what you want to do?
Sure, I have
Yeah.
PowerPoint.
Sure.
Good.
The board would love to see a very brief overview.
Okay,
That'd be
sure.
great, also for the public. And this is a public hearing for this, so you got, okay.
Here, so you can see on this slide right here, there's the property location is outlined in red. That's the parcel that is, or the two parcels that are being considered for rezoning. The overall surrounding area directly across the street on Prospect Avenue is all zoned R2, which would be consistent with this site. Directly to the left of it, there's an R4 neighborhood, an R3 neighborhood, which is the apartment complex, and then Dolphin Avenue, which is another R2 zoning district with a similar cul-de-sac configuration. To the right of the location, most of that area is still zoned R1, but I'll note at the intersection with Newport Road is where Maple Shade Elementary School is, which council recently rezoned to R2. So all along Prospect Avenue on both sides, if council were to adopt this rezoning, you would have a consistent R2 designation along Prospect Avenue. So we think it's appropriate and consistent with the area of the community. Obviously, this is just the first step in the process. This is the rezoning. We'd have to go through a subdivision and land development process. If you can click to the next slide, we have a draft sketch plan, or next one, I'm sorry. A draft sketch plan of what that might look like on an R2 configuration, which would allow for 10 building lots, a cul-de-sac, a lot for the stormwater basin and other improvements, and the existing dwelling to remain. Again, that would have to go through subdivision and land development approvals. It would be reviewed by your township engineer and go through that entire process, but we wanted to give you an idea of what it would potentially look like out there once and if the rezoning was passed. So I'll keep it brief, but if there's any other questions, I'm happy to answer them.
So going from R1 to R2, what's the lot sizes?
So R1 is 10,000 square feet is
Right.
the minimum, R2 is 6,500.
How many more houses do you get on that lot by
Two
two more houses?
more building lots, correct. But we are providing additional improvements in the form of stormwater improvements and a cul-de-sac, so we think the need is offset there.
Because the biggest problem, of course, is flooding. We have issues all over with
Right,
Croydon.
so you'll have, obviously, and it'll be reviewed during the land development process, but we would be providing adequate stormwater management as part of the development process.
Okay.
Do you have any other witnesses or anything else on this?
No, that's all I have. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Does
If-
the council have any other, because otherwise I'll open up to the public. Council?
So just to be clear, you're going from, I can't see it here, and I looked at the map couple, 2 months ago. What's the lot sizes in most of them now?
The lot size for,
yeah.
right now, R1 would require 10,000
Yeah,
square feet.
what are you proposing, lot size?
6,500.
And how many are they all 5,500 up there?
No, some of them,
65, thank you.
Some of the ones on the upper part of the plan, they're closer to 65, they're closer to 6,500. The lower portion are larger than 6,500. They may even be almost 10,000.
Okay.
So really, the main difference is we're able to put an additional couple lots on the upper side of the plan.
You get 2 more lots.
Two
by
more
going-
lots on the upper side.
And what's the total, 10?
10 dwelling, yeah. 10
At
dwelling lots.
R2, 10.
Yeah, correct,
Yeah, so it goes, you're 8, 10 versus 8.
correct.
Mr.
What
Schroeder-
side,
Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry,
Pat. No, go back.
what size homes are you thinking of? Square footage?
2,000 square feet.
Okay, that's a nice size.
So that's 3-bedroom homes, garage,
2 baths.
2.5 baths, yeah, you gotta do that.
Mr. Schroeder, what-
Basements, I'm just curious.
Nope.
No basements, right? Yeah, okay.
Mr. Schroeder, when you're going from 8 homes to 10 homes, stormwater management, is that is the basin able to hold that water?
It'll have to be fully engineered and reviewed, of course, but the way stormwater management generally works is you have to offset the amount of improvements that you make. So they'll have to do theoretically 20% more stormwater management because of the extra
2 homes,
impervious coverage that would be.
yeah.
I can't see it here, but the top, all the way in the corner to the right, it looks like a big open space.
Yeah, that's part of one of the building lots in the
Okay.
top right corner.
Yep.
Just the way with the cul-de-sac configuration it allows for larger lots. Really, the smaller lots are going to be those 4 initial lots
Okay.
on the top of the plan. Everything else is pretty close to a R1 lot size.
Is the retention basement in the upper left that I'm looking at?
Correct, yep.
That's a pretty large basin.
If you need to go bigger, there's room to go bigger with that basin?
Yeah, we've provided for adequate size so that based on whatever your township engineer recommends, we're
Okay.
able to accommodate.
I'm good.
Are there any comments from the public? Anyone from the public? Hearing none?
Okay.
Nor
Need a
council,
motion.
We'll close, well,
I'll
we'll
make
close the
that
hearing.
motion.
Close the hearing.
Close
We'll
the
close
hearing.
this part of the hearing and council action is appropriate.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance change.
We have a motion by Patrick Antonello, second by Sidney Murphy on the motion. Is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Good luck,
Thank you very much.
okay? Just make sure you take care of that water. Next, we have an ordinance of the Township Bristol amending Chapter 201, 205, zoning of the Code of the Township of Bristol relating to A6 residential conversion and A9 group home. Consideration, take appropriate action. Flagger?
Yeah, this is a sort of a minor change. And what it's doing, it's eliminating, right now, for group homes and recovery, it's 6 or more individuals. And what happens is people will come in, they'll say they have 5, then we approve it, and they find out there's 8 or 10 people. This way it eliminates that, and no matter how many individuals you have to come into the township. So it gives the township a better feel as to what's going on. Also, it prevents owners, well, I just mentioned it. It also requires membership in one of the three recovery home associations, either national, state, or county, which have been vetted by this township. It won't have a negative effect on group homes as they are protected under federal law, the Civil Rights Act, and the Fair Housing Act. So it is a good improvement to the ordinances we presently have.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Cindy, motion by Mary Ann Wagner,
I'll second.
second by Marcia Dunlap. On the motion, is there any question?
What?
Yeah, I just wanted-
Oh, it's
It's
a
a
public
hearing
hearing.
also.
Does the public have anyone in
Yes.
the public have something to say on this proposed ordinance? Okay, hearing none, it's
Okay.
closed. Mr. President, I am sorry.
Okay. So we have a motion by Mary Ann Wagner, second by Marcia Dunlap on the motion. Is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Flagger, for clearing that one up. Next, we have an ordinance of the Township of Bristol amending Section 191-24 of the Chapter 191 Vehicles and Traffic of the Bristol Township Code of Ordinances, Schedule, what's XV? Thank you. Is that right?
Yes.
Thank you. 15, Schedule 15. It's been a while. You know, Super Bowls are way past that one.
Subsection, that's subsection
Yeah.
191.
Thank you. 191-79 to authorize parking prohibited at all times. Consideration, take appropriate action. So this is a public hearing, right, Mr. Flagger?
It is, sir.
Okay, so we can have comment from the public. Anybody like to comment? Come on up. Push the green button down. There you go. Do you have to swear her in on this one or no? Okay, just making sure. Hi, address.
Mind if I read off my paper?
If you could, sure.
Just give your name and address.
My name is Anita Bosco, and I live at 801 Hillary Ave. So this is kind of what I came here to say. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I've waited 34 years to be here. Many thanks to the township and council members and state officials that have listened to my concerns regarding the adjacent property between Hillary Ave and 726 Newportville Road on the east side of Newportville. This has been a nuisance property for many decades, left by the developers and used by neighbors on the west side of the road to park safely for many years. Previous issues were resolved about approximately 20 years ago. It could have been a little longer. With a little help from the state, a gentleman's agreement amongst the 4 neighboring homes, myself on the one side, 3 neighbors on the other, those homeowners that allowed each home 2 parking spots for their vehicles only, each maintaining his or her spots, and then I and my husband would maintain along our fence and our property line. Things were peaceful and civil until the ownership of 723 Newportville Road changed 6 years ago. The new owner there decided the agreement didn't suit him or his wants. He told me he was going to take the property and own it. It didn't take long before the neighbor filled the east side property with broken dam and unregistered vehicles and boats, trash, a camper that his homeless friends stayed in at night, dumped chemicals, and uninvited rodents. Also, he or his friend running a business on this lot with loud tools running many nights of the week throughout the year. Either way, the homeowner allowed it. There has been no regard for his neighbors or for policies and ordinances. The new resident does have a record of assault, but he is unapproachable to any of his neighbors.
Nita, can I interrupt you just for a second? Could you pull the microphone closer? People at home are saying they can't hear you.
Is that better?
Yeah, they just bring it closer to you so that
Okay.
they can hear it at home.
Sorry.
Oh, there, hey.
Hey, we gotta go.
The microphone's on.
Sorry to interrupt you.
I'm sorry, thank you. It didn't take long, okay, so either way, he's responsible for all of that on his property, even when he's charging his friends rent to work off of it. So he does have this record of assault, So really, none of the neighbors want to do it the right way and approach him. So, and he would tell us we were all wrong anyway, but police couldn't help us because they didn't have jurisdiction over what was assumed to be a state property. And our local officials and politicians were where we sought help from assumed it was the state's responsibility, but that is not true. In order to resolve the disrespect to neighbors and the land, a property owner or a responsible party needed to be found, and it's taken a long time and tremendous research by many, including all of you, to achieve this. So I'd like to speak and advocate for my wonderful neighbors. We all understand that we have that responsible party with the township stepping in. Unfortunately, the plan to make no parking for anyone negatively affects those neighbors on each side of 723 Newportville Road. They've done nothing wrong. It's not fair that they be left without parking. There are further handicap concerns, more than what I was aware of and that I made Jews aware of, along with issues like clear visibility to use their driveways or simply walking across the street to their car. This mostly has been caused by the fence installed at 723. It blocks the clear and safe visibility for these adjacent neighbors. Again, your assistance on this east side property is greatly appreciated, but I am pleading for my neighbors that their need for safety be considered, hear their concerns, and avoiding a parking nightmare at the entrance of the acres on Hillary Ave to be avoided. School buses will struggle to get through. I've seen it firsthand on a busy day, so please keep our school children safe. Perhaps the council can consider revisiting the gentleman's agreement that worked out well for all concerned, with the change that 2 cars each per household of the 3 involved there be by township permit only. And an added note, with this gentleman's agreement, there were empty spots for delivery people of our local businesses and other services to be off the road and out of harm's way. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have anybody else about this ordinance? Come on up.
My name is Rosemary Wall. I live at...
Is it green?
It's green.
Okay.
Is that
Got it.
better? I'm sorry. All right. My name is Rosemary Wall. I live at 731 Newportville Road. And basically everything that Anita said is true. I'm one of the neighbors that is part of that gentleman's agreement. 723, for lack of a better word, is very much a bully. I live by myself. Not only is he not approachable, but if he is approachable, he's... if you do approach him with something, if there's any way for him to get out of it, he will. He's been intimidating before. I've had to ask him not only to move cars so I can get my car out of that space that we're speaking of, but also out of a driveway that we share on a property. The driveway is not shared. We have individual driveways, but they abut on our property line. I have 4 times this year alone, I have had to go knock on his door to get him or someone who's working for him to move their vehicle or move their property that was on my property. And he's kind of done the same with this parking space across the street. The no parking, I don't want to be a burden to my neighbor. That's not my goal here. And I feel like I would be if I had to park on Hillary opposed to this parking area. I don't know if there's a way that we can just enforce standing parking ordinances as if it is a street, such as, that like the vehicles have to be registered and I believe inspected, I'm not sure, no non-moving vehicles to that, no dumping, if that could be enforced, or as Anita suggested, by permit, that would solve a lot of these issues as well. And again, not to burden other households on Hillary Ave, which is where I foresee, obviously, I can't, but yeah, that's, yeah.
That's all we have is said to ourselves.
Okay.
We'll let the chain reaction to this year.
Right. So I guess that's all.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for hearing us.
Anybody else?
My name is Doris Davis, and I'm the third party of the 3 homes that are together. I'm 70 years old. My husband is a disabled American veteran, and it would be an extreme disservice to have us not be able to park where we've parked for over 22, 23 years now, to have to haul groceries up the street. I beg of you to do something other than prevent us from parking there at all. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Mr.
Randy.
Randy, go ahead.
So, council, I started this, so I apologize. I had been speaking with Anita for probably over the past 3 years, trying to figure out, I did not know, this is the first I'm hearing of a gentleman's agreement. I don't think I knew of that, but you know, it's just been a situation that has grown and exacerbated. Code enforcement has been citing the property owner, and you know, we can get the, I believe the police have been involved. So we can work on that. I did hear actually a very good suggestion that I did not think of, or that would have been the proposed ordinance, the permit parking. That's actually a very good suggestion. Two per household is a very good suggestion. So my recommendation to council on the Newportville Road portion of the ordinance only would be to table it so we could re-advertise it, rather than no parking would be permit parking only, and then we would reach out to the adjacent property owners for permit parking.
That sounds like a great plan. And meanwhile, just we will, as a township, continue to investigate and take the appropriate action with this one particular property owner who is violating a lot of township ordinances, and we'll do our best to rein him in.
As far as I know, and we have citations in court right now, in
Good.
district court with him.
Right. But, you know, there comes a point where he can't ignore him any longer, right? We're going to get to that point, and, you know, we have to be patient, but relentless at the same time.
We're going to have to be relentless, as the same behavior that the residents are stating are occurring to our code enforcement officers as well.
Yeah, well, you know, if he steps a little bit out of line, then, you know, it'll end up being a criminal action, and another one of the township services will be visiting him.
So,
I make the motion to table.
thank you, Pat.
I'll second it.
We have a motion to table,
This is the Newportville Road.
just the Newportville Road.
Thank you.
Right.
Motion to table takes precedent. There's no discussion, it's just a vote.
To table it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, so we have a motion by Patrick Antonello, second by Joe Glasson. On that motion to table, just Newportville Road. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. You're welcome. We're going to continue.
Back to the drawing board.
Right. So, on the rest of it,
I'll make a motion for the balance of the ordinance change.
I'll second that.
so we have a motion by Cindy Murphy, second by Mary Ann Wagner. On the motion, is there any questions on that ordinance? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, next public hearing and presentation of substantial amendment to the 2019 program Year Cares Act Action Plan.
Thank you, President Bowen. I actually consolidated, if that's okay, the two presentations, the one for the substantial amendment D and the one for the action plan 2022 program year E.
Right.
So if you don't mind, I will be presenting both of those together.
Okay.
briefly. So, as we do every year, Bristol Township is a entitlement community, and we receive funds from from HUD. So we go over what it means to be entitlement community, and to
I don't think your microphone's working. I can't hear you.
and to receive
That's better, thank you.
and to receive federal grant program. We receive our grant on a formula basis, and then we had also received COVID-19 pandemic CARES Act funds. The funds have to be used for eligible activities to meet national objectives. National objectives are area benefit, where your service area is 51% or greater of low or moderate income households. It's a benefit to income qualified households for low or moderate clientele. Low income households that earn less than 50% of an area median income, or moderate income households that earn less than 80% of the area median income. There's also a national objective of elimination of slum and blight, and a national objective of urgent need. Thank you. We're required to have 2 public hearings a year. One is for the action plan, which is tonight, and the other is for the CAPER, which is a consolidated, I don't remember what it stands for right now, but it'll come to me. I haven't done this in a couple of years. Van's recovering from COVID, so that's why I'm doing this tonight. Our Community Development Director, Van Struther. So that is the annual end of the year report. And substantial amendments are also required to have public hearings, and that's what we're doing tonight. On the 2019 action plan is where we put our CARES money for our public funding, and the CARES Act was that we received was to prepare for, respond to, or prevent for COVID-19. We received 2 different rounds totaling $684,155 for CARES Act, which was the CV funds. Total spent right now is almost $200,000. Majority of it has been with the homeless shelter. We've aided them with distributing in the time of crisis that they were going on with trying to distribute and have people disperse more than 6 feet apart during COVID and the pandemic. And we've also used it for administration. 80% must be used within the first 3 years. So the final amount of monies that we want to use the CARES Act funding for is in public facilities and infrastructure improvements and public services. It's coupling it with the action plan for 2022. We're going to be, as we've talked about several times, we're going to be upgrading the township-owned building on Murray Low Drive on Schumacher Building. So we have building upgrades, and that's the public facilities improvement and structure. And that is also the public service that we're going to be doing is also allowing funding for the CAPA program, the Academic Enrichment Program. We provided funding with the American Rescue funding for the startup, and now this is going to be a full year for the programming. So that would be for the CARES Act funding, and then the allocation for 2022 is $641,871. 20% is always for administration, 15% is for public service. Housing repairs, we've increased that. We typically have $100,000 allocated. We increased it to $150,000 because we have a lot of residents that need help with emergency repairs, which would be usually electrical, sewer, plumbing repairs. And our public facilities, as we just said, would be the property on Marie Lowe. We also purchased the property next door, building a parking lot for the property next door. So those are our recommendations for the action plan, and under the consent agenda are the 2 resolutions.
We need a motion.
No,
Nope,
that was just a presentation.
Just making sure.
We are required to have the public hearing. That's it.
And that covers the public hearing and presentation on the next one, E, on the agenda?
It's in the consent agenda, I think she said, right?
Yes.
Did D and E together, right?
Yep.
E together.
Right, that was the presentation, but the resolutions are in the consent agenda.
Yeah.
Yep, okay, just making sure.
See?
All right, next we're moving to consent agenda. We're going to move along here.
I'll
Consider-
make a motion to approve the consent agenda A to F.
Wow, we're
Gotta
going
read
to,
it.
I got to read it first there.
I can make the motion and you can read it.
Okay. Let me slow that down now.
Woo!
Okay.
She really wants to make that motion.
All right, consent agenda. Consider approval of voucher list and requisition dated May 19, 2022, to an amount of $1,829,274.63. Consider approval of April 21, 2022 council meeting minutes. Consider resolution for an official sewage facility planning module for 1942 Forge Road. Consider resolution approving the Bristol Township 2019 Program Year CARES Act substantial amendment authorizing a submission to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. Consider resolution approving the 2022 Program Year Community Development Action Plan authorizing its submission to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. Consider resolution approving the request to apply for the Watershed Restoration Protection Program through the Commonwealth Financing Authority for the Plum Ridge Swales. So we have a motion by Mary Ann Wagner. I need one more.
I'll second.
Come on, Ray.
Second by Marcia Dunlap. On the consent agenda, is there any questions on that?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Anyone opposed to that? Thank you. Report from Township Manager.
Thank you again. Tonight I have only one thing on the agenda. We have our Department of Emergency Services, Fire Marshal, and Fire Department. We have our career stellar fire department here with our firefighters, and Kevin DiPolito, our Fire Marshal, Emergency Management Director. A couple months ago, we were talking about our Public Works Department and looking at surrounding municipalities and seeing how underpaid we had been for a couple years with that department. Additionally, Kevin came to me a couple weeks ago and said the same thing about his department. Bristol Township is like no other department in career fire services. We had a study done, as you're all aware, a couple years ago, and we're one department or one municipality that has a career department during the day. Very fortunate with the staff that has been here. These gentlemen that should probably all come up here and be seen. Yes, very fine-looking crew and amazing at what they do. Other municipalities have departments that may do and I'm not knocking other municipalities. I'm actually just exactly there's firefighters, there's fire inspectors, and there's emergency management. And other municipalities are fortunate to have one department of each. Our guys do it all. And our guys cover 1,800 fire inspections a year. That requires going back to possibly 1,000 re-inspections per year. While they're there, they're also doing other inspections that if you asked any other municipality to have their fire inspectors do anything else, they would laugh in our face. These guys politely and make sense, and then also go in there and have conversations with the business owners and make a rapport, and then that just is, it bodes well for the township. It really does. A business-friendly township that council has wanted for the 8 years that you've been on board. They go in there and they're already there, so why not check to see about the sign permits and the vending machines and anything else that they see, and that brings in almost $750,000 a year. and then they're also out there doing all the apartments and inspections, and that's almost about 4,000 inspections a year. And then I've sent you of what, not what I require, but what Kevin requires of them going out in freezing, frigid, cold water and doing testing for, and training for water rescues. So, I don't think that, I've never seen a crew as able-bodied as this entire department. And, when Kevin said that we were actually in jeopardy of losing 3, that was 3 too much. Unfortunately, 1 is definitely still going because of a distance, issue, and that makes sense. But my recommendation would definitely be, just of all they do, they never ask for anything. I mean, they do everything on their own. They're really great guys. They're really good at what they do. It would be a shame to lose any of them. My recommendation would be in the memo that was attached. The surrounding municipalities are already making about $15,000 more at start, so that would be my recommendation to tier it, and the memo that we had started to give everybody a raise of about $15,000 a year.
I would happily make that motion to increase
I'll
their
second that.
salaries. Everybody second it, yes.
How about all in favor?
Yeah,
Aye.
aye.
Okay, thank you.
Well deserved. You guys have great passion. Great passion.
I just want to.
Gentlemen, thank you for choosing
Yeah,
to
for-
serve Bristol Township.
Yep.
We
and hanging
appreciate
in
it.
there. It was probably 10 years ago, Kevin, back in the day. I'm sitting in the audience. You got grant money to hire firefighters, to hire inspectors. And I'm sitting in the back going, oh, geez, because it's only 3 years. And Kevin's like, it will zero out. I promise it will zero out. We will make this work. And then in the meantime, you put a fire truck on the road to do inspections, right? And former council member and I am going, that's batshit nuts. You're driving a fire truck. And then sure enough, my back room, my ultrasonic cleaner catches on fire. My fire alarms go off, and within a minute, the truck is there. And do you remember? I'm like, I'll pull the hose, and you go straight back, turn right, and open that valve. And that was when you don't realize, the blinders are on, how effective that was. Saved my building, and you got, so from now on, when I see the truck out, it's like, yeah, that's pretty good.
12 years now.
Yeah, so it's been 12 years, huh? So we started with grant money 12 years ago, and I was sitting in the audience going, this ain't going to work. And it worked out pretty good. So that's kudos to you for having that vision.
Saves have been made because of these guys being on the street.
Well, you beat me to the punch, because I was going to reiterate on the saves that have been made and the amount of cooperation that has turned from the volunteer organizations in the township along with these guys. Because when it first started out, there was, like fire guys always are. Oh, they're going to be taking our fires. They're going to be doing this, and it has done a 180, and everybody really works together, and it's kudos to the crew for sure.
The relationship we have with the volunteer fire departments in this township is like no other.
It's second also.
You can't tell us apart.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Yep. Thank you for everything.
Stands here is also a volunteer as well, just, in our, outside of here.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Township manager, you have anything else? Nope. Okay. Report from solicitor. Randy Flegger?
I have nothing further at this time.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have new business application of Pung Lee, CO Dow Chemical, 2900 River Road, Croydon, PA, tax parcel number 5-54-157, requesting waiver of land development approval in order to add a 2 modular storage buildings and repave the existing area behind the warehouse at the above noted location in an M2 heavy manufacturing zone district. Hello. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. Yes.
Is the green light on?
Yes. Yeah, I can speak to the microphone.
Thank you, please.
Could I have my presentation on?
Would you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, yeah, my name is Pyung Lee, and I'm an engineer with Dow Chemical, and I'm the project manager for this storage building. No, but I could talk through and try to describe as much as possible if you're not able to pull the slides. Okay. Yeah. So we are located at the 2900 River Road, and we're part of the Dow Chemicals coatings business, and we manufacture paint, adhesives, and coating, and we have a need to keep the materials that we use, and the product that I wanted to share with you, and you may have some experience seeing them on Home Depot. This material goes in to make the scuff defense for bare paints that you might have seen on Home Depot. So it requires a temperature controlled environment to be stored. And then we currently keep these stored at temporary refrigerated storage. So we decided to upgrade these storage units with a backup generator that provides reliable energy in terms of the power outages, and then upgrade the building of the refrigeration units. So the building is only about 20 foot by 10 feet, and then it's slightly under 200 square feet inside. And the two buildings that you mentioned one is the storage building, and the other one is the power backup generator that will provide power to this building in case of the power outage. So one of the highlights I would like to make a note on the zoning is that, as you mentioned, that we're operating in the M2 heavy manufacturing, and we're not changing any of that, and we're making no alteration to the lot area, lot width, or we're not changing any impervious area ratio. So we're repaving the asphalt that was there and making improvements and providing more safe and reliable operation of the building.
And where is it located on the property?
So I wish I had the aerial view, but then as you drive on the 2900 River Road, you'll see the parking lot and the loading station. As you can see, this building is located behind the building where it's facing the water side.
Okay.
Yes.
Kind of out of sight, right?
You will not be able to see this from the River Road. You're right.
And it's 200 square feet?
The building
One of
itself,
them.
building itself, interior-wise, is slightly under 200 square feet.
And the other one is for the generator?
Yeah, and the other one is for the generator, but if you add all the square footage of the operation, it's slightly under 1,000 square feet.
Okay.
Yes.
We sent you a 4-page document with some exhibits. Are you the authorized representative that will sign on behalf of Dow Chemical if this council approves this tonight?
Yes.
And you've had a chance to review the agreement?
Yes.
And you're prepared to sign it as it's been negotiated?
Yes.
Okay. I have nothing further. Council action is in order.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Cindy Murphy.
I'll second it, Chris.
Second by
Whoever. Doesn't
whoever. By Joe Glassen. On the motion, is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you for investing in Bristol Township. Next, we have an application of owner Marble and Granite, 225 Lincoln Highway, Ferris Hills, PA, requesting preliminary final subdivision report approval in order to subdivide the property into 2 lots at 2900 Veterans Highway, Bristol, tax parcel number 524-60, and a C commercial and M1 light manufacturing zone district. Hello there.
Hi, Mr. Bowen, how are you?
Good to see you again.
Council members, good to see you.
Good evening.
And of course, Mr. Flager and Mr. Schroeder. Tim Duffy from Hillwallock on behalf of Owner Marble and Granite. My client it's a family-owned local business. They're in the business of fabricating custom stone countertops. Presently, they're located down in Falls Township, and they're looking to relocate here to Bristol Township. Exactly.
The grass is greener here.
Yes. True. To do that, we're under contract with the owner of the property at 2900 Veterans Highway. It's about 164,000 square feet. It has 2 buildings on it, one on either side, and we're simply looking to do a subdivision, divide it roughly in half. The half my client would purchase is about 76,000 square feet. It's presently zoned M1, light manufacturing. That's where they would have their fabrication facility with associated storage and display. The other half of the property, which is actually zoned C commercial, it's a split zone property, that would be retained by the owner, and the businesses that are there would continue. And that's about 87,200 square feet. We're not going to.
Backed by 3D printing?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
3D is the lot we would not purchase. We're not going to increase the footprint or expand the building at all. We're going to do a very nice facelift on it. Fortunately, these guys are in the business of stonework, so they'll do. This is Okan Memes from Owner Marble. He and his sister now own the business. We're not going to be increasing the footprint. Do some nice facelift, clean up the site, and essentially just draw the subdivision line down the middle. We do have the Township Engineers Review Letter of April 8th. We've been through that with the Planning Commission as well. All the comments, engineering comments, are all will complies. And we have reviewed with Mr. Flager an agreement as well along those terms.
So what about sewer and water? Do you have to add new laterals, or just trying to figure out?
We're going to televise we're not sure if the buildings are connected. Okay. So we have to televise that line. We're in the process of lining up the contractor. If they are connected, we'll have to cap off that connection and tie into the main in the street. Okay. And we've agreed to do that.
Veterans Highway?
Yes.
Okay.
So hopefully they're not connected. Hopefully there already is.
Yeah, Murphy's Law will kick in with a vengeance there.
Mr. Duffy, you have the agreement, and your client is prepared to sign it tonight if we, council should deem fit to approve it.
Yes, we are. We have reviewed and agreed to it.
Council action is in order.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Patrick Antonello.
I'll second it, Craig.
Nope. Ray.
He was doing a dramatic pause, I see.
I forgot you were down there. It's good to see you, Ray. How's things going down at the end? Good. We have a second by Ray Blaylock. On that motion to move forward with your subdivision, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, thank you. Thank you for coming to Bristol Township.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yep, appreciate it. Good luck in your business.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right, next and last, we have an application for Florence. I know I'll screw this up, but is it Kowiski? 539 Jacksonville Road, Suite 100, Warminster, PA, requesting preliminary final development and a lot line change approval in order to construct 3 single-family dwellings on a property located at 130 Walnut Avenue, Croydon, PA, tax parcel 5-008-096, and an R2 residential. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Paul Cohen with Curtin and Hefner. I'm here actually representing Habitat for Humanity. Florence Kowalska is the executive director of that organization. She's here this evening. Also with me this evening is the construction director for Habitat, Mike Fallon, and our engineer, John Koutsouras. I believe we also have representatives from the Redevelopment Authority and the parish, I believe, correct? We're not presenting everybody to you tonight, so I know it's getting late, and we want to present this application, and these folks are available to you, but I'll give a brief summary. This is the St. Thomas Aquinas Church property and the school property behind it. What Habitat is looking to do is to do a lot line change to transfer some property from the church property to the school lot, and then that lot would be subdivided into 3 separate lots for residences to be constructed by Habitat. This application has been before the Planning Commission. We have received the latest review letter from your engineer, which I believe was dated March 29th, and that letter is a will comply. There was one zoning issue raised in that letter and in the initial draft of the resolution, and I believe Jim resolved that earlier today. There were a couple of other minor tweaks, but otherwise we are in agreement with the resolution as proposed And again, the engineering letter is a will comply. I am happy to present our engineer as well as our executive director with information about the project, but I will leave that up to council to decide how you'd like to proceed.
So we have 3 individual homes? Was that?
Right now is the school building.
Right.
So the plan would be to then have 3 single-family detached dwellings in place of the school.
And
So you're talking a demo, I'm sorry.
yes, yeah, go Pat. Go.
You're talking a demolition, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that wasn't clear at first, but I was thinking that's what you needed to
And
do.
Yes.
I know the issue was off-street parking prior.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
have that rectified.
I believe there are there was off-street parking for each of the residences, so it will be adequate off-street parking.
Stormwater management, always huge in Croydon area.
Let Mr. Katsouris just step up and he can answer that question, I think, more specifically than I could.
Good evening. My name is John Katsouris. I'm with Carroll Engineering. To speak on your stormwater question, we're actually reducing the existing impervious area, so there's no need for stormwater on this site.
That's at all? At all? Nothing?
Nope.
Kurt?
Yeah, so without creation of new impervious.
Can't hear you.
With, is that better?
Nope.
Nope.
There we go.
You didn't blow into it first.
You do that on purpose.
Yeah. Okay.
With reduction of impervious surface, you generate less runoff.
It's you, Kurt.
Alfalfa. Okay.
Right, you're gonna create, by tearing up the school, the blacktop, and you're not gonna put back more than you're tearing up. That makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Boy, that's a new one. You know,
Every once in a while you win one, I guess.
Yeah.
And to be 100% clear, there was two comments. It was a repeat comment on the letter that talked about the lot area for lot 3 that was undersized. It was a miscommunication. There's a flag piece of that lot that was not caught by the review engineer that we had a discussion about, and it is actually over 6,500 square feet.
The R2 requirement,
It's
okay.
it is proper.
And what size houses are we proposing?
I don't remember.
1,700 to 1,800 square feet.
Okay. That's good size for small enough.
1.5 baths. We don't do two.
Okay.
Living room, dining room, nice front porch. It's actually.
There you go.
Cape Cod style house.
Okay.
Any one of the houses, if the need arises, can be made handicap accessible. With the 4th bedroom downstairs.
Okay.
Full bathroom downstairs.
Spin that around to show the.
Very nice.
Okay.
That's nice.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for showing that.
the habitat model is in place, so the owners will be putting sweat equity into it, and it's such a fabulous program. I'm really happy that this project has figured out a way to move forward for a lot of reasons. It's good.
Affordable homes.
Good stuff, yeah.
Yes.
I have nothing further. Council action is in order.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mary Ann Wagner.
I'll second it, Craig.
Second by Joe Glasson on the motion. We have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck. Thank you. It's good to see you. We're moving along. We have other business. Is there any other business? I'll see you at the gym, Robert. See you at the gym.
I don't know. Yeah. Painters has something to do with this project, right?
We'll be moving along here in a minute. No problem. Okay, we're moving along the agenda. We have other business. Any other business? Next, we have comments from council members. Just remind everybody, Bristol Township cleanup days are back Saturday, May 21st, and Sunday, May 22nd, 8 to 12. If you got junk, you can bring it down here to the municipal complex. Free disposal of your household junk, recyclables, and electronics. Dispose of your unwanted refuse, electronics and recyclables, household appliance, toys, old bikes, furniture, clothing, and plain old household trash without charge. Crews will help the residents unload. Proof of Bristol Township resident is required. Please note that the following items below will not be accepted. Construction debris like drywall, tiles, shingles, bricks, tires, and hazardous waste. Only one televised television per household. I did pretty good tonight. Only one television per household. We had problems before where trailers would pull up and there'd be 10 TVs on there. No more, just one. And no yard waste will be accepted. There'll also be a shredding event on Saturday, May 21st, so bring down your papers that you want it shredded. And that's sponsored by Representative Tina Davis, so bring it down. Limited to 5 boxes per household. Please bring documents containing personal information that you no longer need, including folders, expired credit cards, old ID cards. Crews will help residents unload and avoid identity theft by shredding the documents that contain personal information. So again, May 21st and Sunday, May 22nd, 8 to 12, right here at the Township Building. This weekend, thank you.
That would be this weekend.
Boy, half a year almost, huh? And next we have the Delaware Valley Vietnam Veterans Jesse Hill Flag Memorial. It's always a great day, great couple days. It's up at the Falls Park. Friday, June 10th is volunteers are needed to help plant the flags. Saturday, June 11th, we have concert, music, day of reflection. It's actually pretty nice. And Sunday is the memorial itself. It's really awesome if nobody's seen it. Great to support our veterans. And again, that's June 10th. June 11th, June 12th. So that's at the Falls Park, and hope to see some people there. And that's all I have to say.
I would just like to remind everybody about the wonderful program that Bristol Township's Parks and Recreation puts on. And it's, unfortunately, when we opened the park, it was COVID, and we were really restricted. But now our park and amphitheater is really ramping up. And while I don't have a list of the upcoming shows this summer, I encourage everybody to check out our website because we've got some fabulous shows coming up. Just want to remind everybody, I've already reserved tickets for one of them, and I want to go to two. We got the Stylistics coming, the Indigo Girls. We got this weekend. We've got the big band jazz.
Yeah, Commodores.
Commodores.
I understand you're going to be up there hosting.
Yeah, I'll probably be up there.
Okay.
But it's just, you can probably count on that.
Get a microphone?
Yes, I think the wisest choice would be to give me the microphone. All right, but really, check out the website because it keeps getting better and better here. So there you go.
Thanks, Pat.
You got it.
For mentioning that. And so now we move on to opportunity for residents to address council. We have Cora Steed, 918 Windsor Drive. And it says block party, SEPTA bus, and speeding.
Is it on? Oh, hi everybody. My name is Cora Steed. I live at 918 Winter Drive. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up of like what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do a block party in Winter Village, the first annual Winter Village Family and Friends Block Party. Looking at either the second week or the third week in July to host it. I'm also here to talk to you guys about the SEPTA bus that comes through Winter Drive. I have some of my other neighbors here too. we want to complain about the SEPTA bus coming. There's really no need for the SEPTA bus to come through Winter Drive. There's no stops in Winter Drive. Now that you guys have, I guess, the left turn off of 13 where the Sunoco and the diner is. Before you had to turn around there before, but now they don't. So now the SEPTA bus can actually make a left to go to Laurel Bucks that way instead of coming through our neighborhood. So that's one of the biggest, because our streets are too narrow, and we have a lot of people doing off-street parking too. So it's like, they'll tell you too, like 2 SEPTA buses hit each other just a couple days ago. So we've been having a problem with the SEPTA buses coming through our neighborhood, and we wanted to talk to you guys about rerouting it. No, but I heard that it saves gas and time, that's why it's not being rerouted.
Well, that's something we would take up with Southeast Pennsylvania Transportation Authority.
It's a SEPTA issue. We can't preclude them from traveling on that road. You gotta lobby SEPTA to change the route.
So how do we lobby SEPTA to change the route?
SEPTA outreach, Randy, can we get some, at least?
Hi, Cora.
Hi.
Yeah, you know you can call me. I mean, I don't.
I
you have my
know,
cell
I
phone
know,
number.
I know, I know.
My cell phone number.
And we
Again,
know- we
once
know
a
about
month,
the
I
block-
say
the
you
block
don't
party.
have to come here.
You know
At
about
the
that
end of-
already?
So, maybe, well, do you know Teddy Moore?
Yeah, I do.
Well, he's
That's
got,
why I'm close. Yeah.
he's got the application for it.
Okay, yeah, so
I
I'm
gave-
gonna, yeah.
Randy sent it to me, I printed it up and gave it to Teddy, just so you know, so there seems to be communication.
I appreciate you, thank you. So I guess, Randy, would we talk to you about the SEPTA?
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're here, my neighbors here are here too to talk
So
about.
we could do that, and we could probably reach out to Tina Davis's office or Congress.
Now,
you know,
will
I
we
mean, I
need,
don't-
like, the neighbors, because there's neighbors that are willing to write a petition. Like, I can get all the neighbors to sign a petition.
We don't.
Is it 120? The 128.
129?
There's 2 buses past each other. That's how they ended up.
Just so you know, you could have sent an email.
Oh.
Might have been done all. It's good to see you, but it could have been already maybe handled.
I know,
It is very nice.
you know what it,
It is
I'm
very
running,
nice to
I'm
see
running
you.
a practice, I'm running Lower Bucks Gynecology now, Dr. Hassick left, so now we're the only gynecology, so it's crazy over there, so.
Nice to see you.
But, yeah, I
And
wanted to talk about
speeding.
that.
You wanna-
We also wanted to talk about speeding
Yeah,
on
it's
Winter
all-
Drive.
It's all over.
The bikes, the four-wheelers, the,
We got it.
Cameron Greenlawn.
so we didn't know whether or not there could be like a, speed box put on Winter Drive to monitor the speed to see, because they're flying 60, 70, 80 miles an hour.
Okay, what address, what block?
900 block,
Yeah.
they're at 9.
Right by our house, 921, it's the curve.
It's a blind curve, you can't see around it. People come on the opposite side of the road and
Okay,
travel.
wait.
Sorry.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, I know this is Ashton, right? But
But
Let's see.
it's like right on our house.
We'll talk-
They live in the
we'll-
old Tucker's house.
We'll talk to the police department, and they'll do a, speed study.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's really about it.
The only thing I was gonna mention was the nuisance properties.
Yes. Does anybody know who owns the property at the 927?
Not off the top of our head, come on.
Well,
Cora.
there's an abandoned house that's like when you come on when you first enter the 900 block, and it sits right here on the corner. It's been abandoned for like 20 years. I was just asking because.
Well, I mean, if we have it on our vacant list, if not, we'll check into it.
yeah,
Thank you. I would appreciate it.
right. I think it is. It's been on there.
we'll look at it, we'll light it, we'll take it, it'll fix it.
Can anybody else? Can people in the community buy it?
It goes to
Depends on
public
what
auction.
the situation is.
Find out who owns it, you can buy it.
Oh, yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
All right.
But anybody can buy it.
Because that's what me and Ted were talking about. We're like,
What's the property
who's
address?
this? Who owns that?
927.
It's like mine, but I think it's not Winder. I think it sits on that corner. It goes down the other street. I'm sorry. My time's up. Everybody, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
Come to the next one.
I will.
Okay.
But email in the meantime.
Yeah.
If anything comes up. All right, I'll do that.
I'll talk, Teddy's away.
Yeah, he is. He's in Baltimore with.
Yeah, he's graduation, so so Ryan West,
Yes, sir.
let's see, you got SEPTA, speeding.
Hi, my name's Ryan West. I live at 921 Winter Drive. I was here to back up Cora, and I also have a couple other things that I wasn't able to fit inside of that block.
Okay.
Alongside of the 927 property, the property at 919 Winter Drive has also recently started to become a nuisance. The vegetation on the property is terribly overgrown, is not maintained. There's shrubs growing out of the drain spouts on the property. There's an RV sitting on the property that is butted up against my fence, and it cannot be towed. The owner has to literally pick it up with a flatbed to get it off, and he brings it back every year. It's a rental property. Currently has 0 power, and as far as I know, no water coming into the house. And the electric box that is owned by Pico on the back is completely demolished. I don't know if the council has any kind of recourse to. Okay. All right, that would be
Code
really
enforcement.
wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah.
This is not the same property you guys were just 927?
No, this is 919. It's right across the street. It's directly next door to my home. 919 Winter.
And this is a rental property, though?
It's a yes.
Yeah, so
I have
actively
spoken with the landlord.
Mhm.
He's swearing up and down. He's trying to get evictions on the residents there, but they've been without power now for at least 2 or 3 weeks. They've been coming over to my house to plug in an extension cord and just to charge your phone, and I'm just like, I can't. I mean, as much as I want to be a good neighbor, last summer I mowed their yard for them all last summer, and just to be kind of a good neighbor and try to help them out, because I understand that people get in tough situations, and you know, I just want to be a good neighbor. And I mean, my wife and I, we've been living in the community for 2 years, and we love our neighbors. Most of the neighbors there, they've been spending thousands of dollars to update their homes, new roofs, new siding. You know, they're doing all sorts of stuff, and you know, the neighborhood is really changing, and we really love it. We have two young little toddlers, and you know, and that's why we came to speak about the speeding issue. So, you know, it's a little bit of a concern to us too. So,
Thanks, Ryan.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
For your
That's
time.
Ryan, and be advised, like Randy likes to say, if you have a nuisance property and issues like that, just give her a call.
Absolutely.
You don't have to come to a meeting. Don't wait for a meeting. Call the township. We're very responsive, okay?
Thank you guys so much.
Good to see you, Ryan.
Take care.
Thank you.
I think these people have left with Anita and Dan Bosco.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, and then Rosemary Wall.
Yep, that was Rosemary, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Good to see you guys. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you. Bye, thanks for coming.
On that, we need a motion to adjourn the meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Great. Well, don't forget cleanup day. Thank you.